It wasn't just a rivalry. It was a revolution. For over 15 years, they weren't playing football, they were rewriting it. One born with a gift from the gods. The author built himself into a god. This is the world that changed football forever. And the world will never see anything like it again. The storm didn't start with thunder. It began quietly. Far from the spotlights, two boys were building their future in opposite corners of the world. In Rosario, Argentina, a young boy named Lionel Messi carried a secret. Not the kind you whisper to a friend, but one that sits in your bones and feels a goal unshakable. He was smaller than everyone, slower to grow, his legs too thin for the game he loved. Doctors gave him a name for it, growth hormone deficiency. He didn't care. He played with older boys and danced around them like air. His touches weren't learned, they were inherited from something higher. A cousin once said, it is like the body sons to him. Meanwhile, in Madeira, Portugal, a kid named Cristiano Ronaldo was sprinting up safe roads with weights on his ankles and in his eyes. His father drank too much. His family had nothing. But his dreams were loud. When his teammates left at his obsession with winning, he trained harder. He once kicked a teammate off the ball just because he didn't pass quickly enough. I hate losing, he told his mother. He went in training. Neither Ballon d'Or existed. Not yet. Messi instantly led him across the ocean. At 13, he boarded a flight to Spain, a suitcase in one hand and a medical file in the other. FC Barcelona offered to pay his treatment. It wasn't a contract, it was a lifeline. They saw what others couldn't. Messi joined La Masia, the youth academy where kids turned into magicians. But even there, he was different. He barely spoke, but with the doll, he was poetry in motion. His coach said he didn't dribble past defenders, he dribbled through them. Ronaldo took a different road. At 12, he left Madrid for Lisbon. At 13, he trained like a man possessed. He cried after bad sessions. He punched was when he missed goals. Talent, sure, but it was willpower that separated him. When Manchester United came calling, he was ready. At just 18, he turned Premier League defenders into statues. He didn't play the game. He attacked it. By 2004, Messi had debuted for Barcelona. By 2008, Ronaldo had won a Champions League and a Ballon d'Or with Manchester United. The destinies were unparalleled. They were on a collision course. Real Madrid broke the world transfer record to bring Ronaldo to Spain in 2009. It was more than a transfer. It was a declaration of war. Messi, the Prince of Catalonia. Ronaldo, the invader from Manchester. The media painted them as opposites. Messi, the humble genius, no tattoos, soft-spoken, introverted. Ronaldo, the glamorous superstar, shirtless celebrations, sculpted physique, swagger. Their first El Clásico meeting was volcanic. The rivalry wasn't just Barca versus Madrid anymore. It was Messi versus Ronaldo, and it consumed the world. Television networks doubled their El Clásico coverage. Stadium ticket prices soared. Social media turned into a battlefield. Kids in Nigeria, Pakistan, Brazil, and Indonesia picked sides, not clubs but names. Messi or Ronaldo. And the numbers? Madness. In the 2011 to 2012 season, Messi scored 73 goals. Ronaldo scored 60 goals. Both broke records once considered impossible. The football world became a two-man empire. Everyone else? Spectators. This wasn't just sport. It was chess at full speed. When Messi dropped deep into midfield, Ronaldo flew down the wings. When Ronaldo scored 50, Messi scored 51. When Messi won the Ballon d'Or, Ronaldo stormed back with goals, abs, and fury. Their teammates felt the weight. Pep Guardiola once said, if Messi didn't exist, Ronaldo would be the greatest ever, but Messi is from another world. Jose Mourinho, Ronaldo's manager at Madrid, replied, Messi is great, but Cristiano is the best athlete the sport has ever seen, mentally, physically, competitively. And amidst this chaos, they never insulted each other. No cheap shots, no low blows. They were rivals, not enemies. That's what made it legendary. But behind the scenes, there was pressure, so much of it, it crushed other stars. Wayne Rooney, Neymar, even Zlatan Ibrahimovic, all world-class, all forgotten in the war's shadow. In 2014, Ronaldo cried during an interview. He was tired of the expectations, of the comparisons, of always being second to a man he never hated, but could never ignore. In 2016, Messi missed a penalty in the Copa America final. Argentina lost. He quit the national team in tears. I've failed them too many times, he whispered. The world saw trophies, goals, glamour, but behind the goals was pain, mental warfare, doubt, identity. They weren't just fighting for greatness. They were fighting for legacy, something deeper, eternal. By 2017, the debate had gone nuclear. Pubs in England, cafes in Turkey, market stalls in Morocco. Everyone argued, Messi is a natural talent. You can't teach that. Ronaldo works harder. He isn't everything. Messi makes teammates better. Ronaldo wins everywhere. He is universal. It became religion. People lost friendships over it. Kids cried over it. TV shows debated it endlessly. It was no longer about football. It wasn't. As Ronaldo. There were that split generations. Between 2010 and 2018, football witnessed a phenomenon unlike anything before seen. It was in it just that Messi and Ronaldo were scoring goals. They were breaking football itself. Numbers from another realm. From 2010 to 2018, Ronaldo averaged 51.6 goals per season. Messi averaged 53.7. They both scored over 600 goals each with the age of 33. At one point, they shared 10 consecutive Ballon d'Ors. It wasn't title, man. It was mythological. Every Champions League campaign felt like a duel. Every of El Clásico felt like a war. Their individual brilliance elevated the game and cursed everyone else. Great players like Xavi, Iniesta, Benzema, Robben, Lewandowski, they never won a Ballon d'Or during that span. Not because they dubbed in the elite, but because Messi and Ronaldo blocked the sky. Chapter Song, the Return El Clásico. Firearms. Between 2009 and 2018, of El Clásico just a match. It was a whirlwind. People watched in 190 countries. Airports prospering. Soldiers in war zones tuned in. Prisoners begged for extra TV time. And the fuel. Messi versus Ronaldo. They met 35 times. The results were almost evenly split. But the memories, eternal. In 2012, Messi scored a hat-trick at the Bernabeu. He didn't celebrate. He just held his shirt up to the Rivalry fans. This is me. In 2014, Ronaldo silenced the Camp Nou with a rocket. His celebration, come, as if to say, you know I did do this. They weren't just trying to win. They were trying to define history. Chapter 3, Beyond Spain, the global race. Why the club were red in Spain, the world state overtid. Cristiano Ronaldo carried Portugal to the Euro 2016 title. Injured in the final, he stood on the sideline, barking orders like a lion. His teeth became legion. Lionel Messi, meanwhile, endured heartbreak after heartbreak with Argentina. 3 Copa America finals. 1 World Cup final. Always the same ending, teeth, silence, pain. Critics screamed, He only performs for Barcelona. They said he is not a real leader. It's sung. But Messi didn't respond with words. He responded with goals. BSK at the club level, Ronaldo dominated Europe. He won 4 Champions Leagues in 5 years with Real Madrid. He became the tournament's all-time leading scorer. Messi, on the other hand, Barcelona's greatest scorer. He made goals while he looked like breathing. In 2012, he scored 98 goals in a calendar year, a record that may never fall. It was art versus ambition, magic versus will, nature versus nurture, and it was too close to call. Chapter C. The moments that changed everything. There were moments, small, specific, unforgettable, that became legends. Messi's solo goals as Real Madrid in 2018, dancing past 5 defenders. Pep Guardiola covered his face in disbelief. Even the Madrid fans applauded. Ronaldo's bicycle kickers Juventus in 2018. Buffon stood still. The crowd gasped. Juventus fans stood and clapped the man who had just destroyed them. Each had moments that felt like fiction, but they were real. Too real to ignore. Chapter 5. The mental game. What fans didn't see was the mental weight. Ronaldo became obsessed with his image, legacy, and longevity. He designed his body like a temple, ate like a monk, slept like a cyborg. I want to play until I am 40, he said, because that is what the greats do. Messi, he internalized everything, every criticism, every comparison. He kept this circle small, barely spoke publicly. But when he spoke on the pitch, it was thunder. Behind the greatness was a of insecurity and obsession. They didn't just play to win. They played to prove something. To themselves, to each other, to the world. Chapter 6. There is cause. With time came the toll. The SSR raised the bar so high that it destroyed expectations for future generations. A striker scoring 25 goals a season in the SSR that was a read. A midfielder assisting 15 goals. That was a decent season. Young talents like Assad, Bell, Dybala, they were very under comparisons. Even Neymar, one of the most gifted players of the era, couldn't escape their shadow. If I win the Ballon d'Or, the Lionel Messi, Ronaldo had an off-year, Neymar once told. The rivalry changed the game, and it changed what the game demanded from everyone else. Forever. Chapter 8. 2018. The Great Divide. Then the world split. Cristiano Ronaldo left Real Madrid in 2018. A shocking move to Juventus at age 33. Messi said in Barcelona, loyal but trapped in a club that was beginning to crumble. The world felt it. El Clásico lost the magic. The GOAT debate became a memory. It was no longer about moments shared. It became separatory. But the rivalry had one more SD. A brutal, unexpected twist. One that would test the legacies like never before. 2018 marked the end of something sacred. For nearly a decade, Messi and Ronaldo had battled in Spain. They faced each other twice a season, and every meeting felt like a final. But then it's a thought. Our stressor was more than a new chapter. It was a rupture. He left as Real Madrid's all-time top scorer, a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, a 4-time Champions League king at the club. And yet he felt unloved. I felt it was time to go, he said. Whispers of jealousy, politics, and with disputes pushed him out. Messi, meanwhile, said at Barcelona, but the cracks beneath the club began to widen. Boardroom cakes, failed signings, and a team increasingly dependent on a single man, Messi. They were now continued at a distance. No more Clásicos, no more direct duels, only cousins, and that felt wrong. Chapter song, a different kind of fight. Ronaldo added it to life in Italy. He scored goals, many of them. He won league titles. But something was off. At June 2, the Champions League opposition swallowed the Clásico. Every season without the trophy was a failure. And in 3 years, Ronaldo couldn't deliver it. Not alone. The media began whispering, is he past it? Can he only succeed at Madrid? He responded the only way he knew how: more goals, more training, more intensity. But time was now his enemy. Messi, meanwhile, remained loyal to Barcelona, but the collapse came fast. In 2020, Barcelona lost 8-2 to Bayern Munich in the Champions League. The club was in ruins. The board betrayed him. The squad was depleted. The magic was still there, but Messi was human, and he had enough. In a telephone interview, he said, I want to leave. But the club blocked him. The boy who had given Barcelona everything was trapped, a prisoner in the castle he built. Chapter 3: The Great Escape. 2021 changed everything. Barcelona's financial crisis deepened. They couldn't afford his contract, not even for free. He was forced out. Messi cried as he said goodbye. I never imagined living like this, he said, voice breaking. He joined Paris Saint-Germain. It felt unnatural, like seeing a king in exile. Ronaldo, that same year, returned to Manchester United, his old home. The fans roared. The romance was real. But United was broken too. Managers came and went. Tactics failed. Ronaldo scored, but the team sank. 2 turns, 2 wrong clubs, 2 story unraveling in real time. And the media flipped. What they once celebrated, they now attack. Messi is finished. Ronaldo only scores TNS. Time to retire. The same voices that built them up now tore them down. Chapter C: The World Cup. Calling. But fate wasn't done with them yet. For years, Messi and Ronaldo were haunted by one goal: the World Cup. It was the one pride that defined eternity. Pelé had it. Maradona had it. They didn't. In 2022, both arrived in Qatar, older, slower, but hungrier than ever. For Ronaldo, it was a nightmare. He clashed with his coach. He was benched in the knockout stages. He left the tournament in his head bowed, alone. It felt like the end. But for Messi, it was a miracle. He wasn't just playing well, he was possessed. Game after game, he delivered magic. Assists, goals, dribbles that echoed his youth. And in the final against France, he gave the performance of a lifetime. Argentina won. Messi lifted the World Cup. And in that moment, the debate shifted forever. He had done it. The final duel. The final proof. Even Ronaldo clapped from afar. Chapter 5: Different roads, same shadows. After the World Cup, the past the word forever. Ronaldo, tired of European disrespect, took a bold move. Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Critics called it the end. He called it a new mission to grow the game globally. He said, my story isn't over. Football was the only life in Europe. He became the HA player in history. And while many mocked Saddam's field, we are it in Asia and the Middle East sought. Messi, meanwhile, followed a similar path but with. In 2023, he joined Inter Miami, shocking the football world. And guess what? Just like Ronaldo, the league changed. Inter Miami became a global brand. MLS viewership exploded. They weren't just players now. They were ambassadors, rewriting football as butters. They were hatching football in Europe. Now it was changing the world. Chapter 6 Legacy Yonder. We saw the world is quieter now. No more El Clásicos. No more Ballon or showdowns. No more Twitter wars between fans. But the impact. Louder than ever. Messi became the first man to win Ballon d'Or. Ronaldo broke Australian record in 4 different countries. Messi gave magic to one club for 2 decades. Ronaldo conquered leagues in 4 nations. They changed the game as culture. Players now play longer. Teams analyze recovery like return. Ballon d'Or debates became national arguments. They changed economics. Billion d'Or were sponsorships. Social media flow was. Brands built on names, not teams. They changed expectations. 30 goals a season is now the minimum for greatness. They changed everything. Chapter 8 The Silent Respect. Through all of it, they never attacked each other, never insulted, never mocked. They competed. They respected. And when said in interviews after all the wars, goals, and debates, both said the same thing. He made me better. By the mid-2020s, the Messi rivalry had no more battles left to fight. There were no more World Cups to chase. No more El Clásicos. No more press conferences filled with SSC tension. But the face of the war still everywhere. Youth academies across the world had 2 blueprints. Messi is on Ronaldo is grind. Every rising talent, Mbappe, Holland, Bellingham, was as, are you more like Messi or Ronaldo? Every Champions League night, the record still haunted the commentators. The world couldn't let go. Not because it didn't want to, but because it had nothing to replace them with. There would be new stars, but not new legends. Because legends don't retire. They call. Chapter 2 The numbers they left behind. When the dust settled, the numbers told is 3 beyond comprehension. Messi, over 800 career goals, over 400 assists, most Ballon d'Ors in history, 8. World Cup winner, 35 major trophies. Ronaldo, over 880 career goals, most international goals in history, only player to score in 5 World Cups, most goals in UEFA competitions, 30 major trophies. They didn't just break record, they redefined them. Before them, 40 goals a season was elite. Now it accelerates. Before them, players decline after 30. Now they dominate into the late 30s. Before them, football was art or realism. They proved it could be both. Chapter 3 The Final Ballon d'Or. Geller. One night in Paris, year after their peaks, something magical happened. The Ballon d'Or ceremony invited both Messi and Ronaldo as legends, not nominees. For the first time, they sat beside each other not as rivals, but as immortals. When Messi's name was mentioned, Ronaldo clapped first. When Ronaldo walked on stage to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, Messi stood and smiled. The crowd watched in silence as 2 titans embraced. There was no bitterness, no tension, just 2 men who something the world didn't. They hadn't been enemies. They had been co-equals. Chapter 4 The Real Debate. For over 15 years, the world asked, who is better, Messi or Ronaldo? But that was never the real question. The real question was, What did we do to deserve both? Because in the same era, on the same pitches, the world got a man who defied biology and built himself into a football machine. A man who defied physics and turned movement into magic. One flew. The other floated. One celebrated with fire. The other walked away quite early, as if he had just broken the universe. One was willpower turned into muscle. The other was gift turned into grace. And somehow they existed at the same time. Chapter 5 Beyond the Game. Today, their faces are more than just highlights. In Indonesia, there is a child wearing a Messi, trying to dribble through 5 friends in a dirty. In Nigeria, a boy trains in the rain, yelling Su'a after every goal. In Pakistan, teenagers argue over who had the better weak food. In Spain and Portugal, murals decorate was not of saints but of Messi and Ronaldo. The rivalry didn't end on the pitch. It entered hearts. It became culture. Chapter 6 The Torchbearers. The world moved on. Mbappe started breaking World Cup record. Holland's third Copa game racers in the Premier League. Vinicius or Bellingham and others rode to global stardom. But something was missing. They were brilliant, explosive, gifted, but the mythology that only belonged to 2 names. The fans still whispered, "Yeah, but it is not Messi and Ronaldo. We will see a rivalry like that again." And they were right, because this isn't just rivalry. It was a wide collision of galaxies. Chapter 8 The Farewell Matches. Year later, both men played the final game. Not in Champions League finals, not in World Cups, but quietly, with 8 legs and full hearts. Ronaldo, in Riyadh, played his final game surrounded by children named after him. He scored, of course, and after the final whistle, he walked to the fans and cried. Messi in Miami walked off to a standing ovation, hugging teammates who had grown up watching him on YouTube. No drum, no ego, just a goodbye. And still, they remain present everywhere. Documentaries, statues, stadiums, dreams, epilogue, what they gave us. They gave us numbers. They gave us memories. They gave us words of beauty and kicks. But more than that, they gave us belief. That talent, no matter how small, or effort, no matter how lonely, could change the world. In the future, children will ask, who was the greatest of all time? And history will smile and reply, there wasn't one. There were 2, and they made each other